Oh crap, not again. Did someone just say objection?
It wasn't Von Karma. But what? Wait, but that means... No. Edgeworth!
Your Honor, I object to your judgment.
What do you mean?
I'm not innocent at all. As we have heard, Yanni Yogi killed Robert Hammond in revenge. But revenge for what?
Nick! Edgeworth's trying to confess! He's gonna say he's guilty! He's gonna tell them that he murdered them all! He's gonna tell them that he killed his own dad! Uh-oh, what do I do?
Let him do it.
Why don't you just leave Edgeworth?
I mean, that's just like to that point. What happens if I leave it to Edgeworth?
No, I'm sure Edgeworth thought about this one long and hard. This isn't my place to interfere. Nick! Are you sure? There's nothing we can do about it. This is his problem now.
Some lawyer. For 15 years, I've had a recurring dream. A nightmare. It's only a nightmare. That's what I told myself. But now I know it wasn't a dream. Yanni Yogi wasn't the killer.
You mean in the incident where your father died?
From the distance of the shot, it wasn't suicide either. Everything was as clear as day. The murderer. The criminal in the DL6 incident. It was me! Your Honor, I confess my guilt. I am guilty for DL6, the statute of limitations which ends today. The culprit is me.
Order! Order! This is certainly unexpected. The defendant declared innocent is confessing to a different crime. A crime for which the statute of limitations runs out today. I'm not really sure how I should deal with this. Bah! It's obvious. We hold a trial right here, right now. We try this man for his crime of 15 years ago. I think I would like to take a 5-minute recess. During this time, I will consider the appropriate course of action to take. Court is adjourned. I need to poop. December 28th, 224, District Court, Defendant number 2.
I'm sorry, Wright. I've just wasted all of your effort. Mr. Edgeworth, I just don't believe it, sir. I mean, you kill your dad? I didn't want to believe it myself, detective. But it's the truth. I deserve to be punished. Murder is murder, no matter the circumstances. This is crazy. Just crazy.
Nick! What are you doing? Huh? Oh. I was just playing Scrabble. Wait, Scrabble. Solitaire. I was just reading through the court record once more. Getting my case ready. Your case for what? Huh? Isn't it obvious? I'm gonna prove that Miles Edgeworth is innocent!
What are you talking about, pal? He just admitted to it. He confessed that he did it in court.
I'm sorry, Edgeworth, but I don't believe your nightmare.
What?
It's just a dream. It's not real. The truth is right here, in this court record. In any case, tighten your belts. The real fight is just beginning. I'll prove you're innocent. Trust me.
Right. You're insane.
December 28th, 2:30 p.m. District Court. Courtroom number 3.
Now then, I would like to resume our trial. Judge! Edgeworth has admitted to his own guilt. He has confessed his crime. Let us begin by hearing his testimony. Then, though pointless, let the defense do their cross-examination. Statute of limitations on DL6 runs out today! Though it's unconventional for me, I'd like to run this one by the book. Okay. Does the defense have any objections?
No, Your Honor. Von Karma, you knew this was going to happen from the very beginning, didn't you?
Okay. Will Miles Edgeworth take the stand? Will the witness state his name and profession?
Miles Edgeworth. I am a prosecuting attorney.
Mr. Edgeworth, 15 years ago, you mistakenly killed your father, Gregory Edgeworth.
Eggsworth.
Is this
Edgeworth.
correct?
His name was Edgeworth, but it is correct.
Testify about this matter to the court.
When Edgeworth was telling me about his dream yesterday, I noticed something. One detail didn't quite fit. That will be the key, but only if I can get it to work.
Please! Please!
That day, I had gone to the courtroom to observe one of my father's trials. As we went to leave, an earthquake struck, trapping us in the elevator. My father and Mr. Yogi lost their composure and began to argue. Just then, something fell at my feet. I picked it up and threw it at Mr. Yogi. I wanted them to stop fighting. A moment later, there was a single gunshot, and then a scream. It was a terrible scream. I remember it to this day. That's all.
And until now, you thought your memory was a dream?
We were stuck in that elevator for 5 hours. The oxygen in the elevator ran out, and I lost my memory of the events.
Bah ha ha! The same claim Mr. Yogi made. Very well, Mr. Wright. Your cross-examination, please.
Yes, Your Honor. What was the trial your father was involved in that day?
I don't remember things very clearly. Only 2 things. I know my father lost, and Mr. Von Karma was the prosecuting attorney.
Mr. Von Karma! You were handling that case? It was 15 years ago. I don't remember the details!
That was when Edgeworth pointed out the problem in Von Karma's evidence. So, there were 3 people, including yourself, trapped in the elevator?
Yes, myself, my father, and Yanni Yogi. We were fine at first. But then, as time passed and no one came to help, my father and Mr. Yogi lost their composure and began to argue.
What did you do then?
I was a 9-year-old boy at the time. What could I do? I was scared, trembling in the corner. But then, just then, something heavy fell at my feet.
What was it?
A pistol. I assume it was the bailiff, Yanni Yogi's. The safety must have come off when it fell from his holster.
And you picked it up? What happened next?
Did you know it was a pistol when you threw it?
I think I knew. I knew it was dangerous. But the air was getting so thick, I panicked.
So you're saying that you threw the pistol at Mr. Yogi?
I was in a daze.
It wasn't. It fired twice. Oh, yeah, that's taking almost a chance. It wasn't. It shot twice. Yeah, American weapon was fired twice. Can I just present that? Or would I get yelled at by the judge?
You can try. Are you sure you only heard one gunshot?
Yes, I'm sure of that. I heard the shot and the scream. Then everything faded. I was unconscious until rescuers came.
I see.
No, Your Honor. Unfortunately, you don't.
Oh.
Look at this file one more time. This plainly contradicts the witness's testimony.
You do enjoy dragging that out that file, huh? Don't you? I don't accept this as evidence! Unless you can tell us what page it's on. Which page contradicts Miles Edgeworth's testimony?
Look at the victim data
Spitting, so nervous.
in this file. It says quite plainly the murder weapon was fired twice.
Oh, really?
Miles Edgeworth only heard one gunshot. Yet the murder weapon was fired twice. The first shot was the accidental firing when the pistol was thrown. So who fired the remaining shot?
Was there perhaps another shooter who fired that second shot? Your Honor, as I'm sure you're aware, this incident occurred 15 years ago. The evidence is dated. The pistol did fire twice. However, we do not know when that second shot was fired. It might have been fired the day before the incident. There is no proof that the second shot had anything to do with this incident.
What?
I see. You do have a point, Mr. Wright. The murder weapon was fired twice, as we have heard. One of those shots was fired by the defendant, a boy at the time. But do you have any proof that the other shot had something to do with the case?
Your Honor, I think I will be able to show you your proof.
Can I? What? Impossible. Now, Mr. Von Comma, save your surprise for after you see the evidence. It'll probably be terrible. Mr. Wright, show us your proof. Do you have any evidence of the second firing of the pistol related to the incident?
Maybe it's the bullet thing? I don't know. Oh,
Does he have 2 gunshot wounds?
there's one in his chest and one in the
mirror.
window thing.
I finally get to show this picture with it having a purpose.
Look at this photograph! Every time it makes me laugh!
How can you say that?
Nick, you shouldn't have said that! That was me! This is a photograph of the scene of the crime 15 years ago. I can see that the victim laying there is Edgeworth's dad, Gregory Edgeworth.
This proves the murder weapon was fired twice at the time of the incident. The photo proves it.
So let me get this straight. This photo proves that there were 2 shots fired. Where?
Your Honor, please get a clue.
Why is it moving to the middle? Just have the cursor appear there.
Well, that would be too easy.
That would just make sense.
As should be obvious, the contradiction is here.
I see. A bullet hole in the door.
Your Honor, Gregory Edgeworth was killed by a shot from the pistol. Yet there is a bullet hole in the elevator door. We also know that the murder weapon was fired twice. Thus, someone other than Edgeworth fired the second shot.
Order! Order! Mr. Wright, what are you driving at?
It's simple, Your Honor. At the time of the incident, 2 shots were fired. One went into Gregory Edgeworth's heart. The other hit the elevator door. Remember that the defendant lost consciousness after the shot he fired rang out. In conclusion, we must agree that the second shot fired was by someone else.
Mr. Wright, but who could that someone else be?
The murderer, of course.
I knew I should have stepped in before your wild fantasies got out of hand. Mr. Wright! Look once more at the DL6 incident case file. Look closely! Try the case summary page.
A case summary page. That's on page 1.
Look what's written there. Not a single clue was found on the scene. If the pistol had indeed been fired 2 times, then the other bullet would have been discovered on the scene. He does have a point. That second bullet has never been found. Why? Because the second bullet does not exist. The bullet that claimed Gregory Edgeworth's life was the one fired by his own son. That is the truth of this matter. The whole truth. It was undoubtedly something else that made the bullet hole in the door. Order! I will have order! Mr. Wright has proven one thing to us quite clearly. That the murder weapon was fired twice at the time of the incident. However, as Mr. Von Kompa says, the second bullet fired was not found. It is highly unlikely that the police merely overlooked this second bullet. So all we have is a single bullet fired. I'm afraid we have to discount the defense's claim. Bah ha ha! I praise the judge for his wisdom in this matter.
How did this happen? I don't believe that the second bullet doesn't exist. Why is I wrong? Have I been wrong about this whole incident?
What are you doing, Nick? Why aren't you raising an objection?
I'm sorry, Maya.
What?
Yeah, it looks like I was wrong.
Nick!
If the second bullet wasn't there, then all my conjectures are for nothing.
No! But you said you'd do it, Nick! You said you'd get Edgeworth declared innocent! Don't you lie to me!
I'm sorry. It's just, when I saw the photograph, I thought that 2 shots had been fired.
He studied that photograph.
I was so certain of it. I thought I'd won. I thought there was another person, someone else who fired the killing shot. But now, I was wrong to think it could be that simple. This case has to be unsolved, has stood unsolved for 15 years.
Nick? Well, it seems we have finally cleared up this incident. Only 1 bullet was found at the scene of the crime. The shot was fired by Mr. Miles Edgeworth.
Precisely.
Why?
I would like to ask one thing of Miles Edgeworth before passing my verdict. You've been paying attention to the trial so far.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any objections?
No. No, I do not.
So you killed your father, though it was not your intention, you say.
Yes, I did.
Oh no. He's accepted the guilt. Very well. The statute of limitations on the murder of Gregory Edgeworth runs out today. Therefore, I must pronounce a verdict on the defendant today, right here. Right now! Okay. Does anyone have any objections?
I've been here before. It's just like my first day in court. There are so many things I know I should be saying. But my mind's gone blank. I can't find the words.
Mr. Wright.
Your Honor! Your Honor, I object!
Mr. Wright, on what grounds do you object, Nick!
I don't know. This case is perfect.
Oh no!
Grr.
It must exist. The second bullet.
What? What did you just say?
Nothing!
Once again, it's funny that me and Maya supposedly have similar voices.
The second bullet must exist. But where?
Someone took it.
Who is that? Seems waiting is not going to produce us any answers from Mr. Wright.
Wait, Your Honor. The second bullet. It existed.
What? But we've just heard proof that it does not exist.
I realize that, Your Honor. I'm really grasping here. It's just someone took it from the scene of the crime. That's what happened.
But who?
The murderer!
The murderer? and tell us just who is this murderer?
I'm still thinking about that one.
So the criminal took the second bullet, but why?
Huh?
First of all, how would they have found it? It's not easy to find a stray bullet, Mr. Wright. Was there some pressing need for the murderer to search for this bullet?
Well, of course, there was a need. That's why he took it.
What possible reason could he have had?
Well, the reason the murderer took the bullet away from the scene of the crime is... Or maybe they thought that the bullet would be used as proof.
Proof?
It was a special bullet, so they took it with them.
If that was the case, then they should have taken the bullet from inside Gregory as well. Why would they only take one of the 2 shots fired?
Oh, right.
Mr. Wright, have you really thought through this? I'm going to have to penalize you.
This isn't going so well.
Was there some pressing need for the murderer to find the bullet? Well, you did have to find it, I think.
Of course, there was a need. Well, the murderer was a very cautious sort, you see? That's why the murderer had to search for the bullet.
If that was the case, then they should have just taken the bullet from inside Gregory as well.
Huh?
Wait, not just taking the bullet? I guess you didn't need it.
Why would the murderer have spent time to look for the stray bullet? I haven't got a clue.
What's wrong, Mr. Wright? The murderer had no reason to take the bullet. You don't want to admit it, but it's true!
Had to take it.
Had to take it. The murderer? What does that mean?
You're thinking too normal. Think crazy. Don't think why the bullet was taken. Think why the bullet had to be taken.
Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor. I have no idea what I'm doing.
I guess that.
Well, the murderer had no intention of taking the bullet from the scene. But, the murderer had to take the bullet.
Did we not just take this route a couple minutes ago?
Well, for instance, what? Maybe the bullet, hit the murderer.
The bullet hit the murderer?
Just saying, for instance. I mean, if it hit you, you would have to take it with you, wouldn't you? It's not like you could perform surgery right there. You know? Wait a second. I was just talking off the top of my head, but what if that's really what happened?
Let me get this straight. So at the time of the murder, the murderer himself was shot. And they left with the second bullet still inside of them, thus leaving the only one bullet at the scene of the crime.
Yes. I guess that's how it would work, yes.
But there's a problem with that. The other two people rescued from that elevator, Miles Edgeworth and Yadi Yogi, were both unharmed. So that would mean...
The murderer came from outside, yes! The two men fight inside the elevator. Trying to stop them, the boy picks up the pistol at his feet and throws it. The pistol discharges, and the bullet goes through the elevator door and hits the murderer outside. The boy loses consciousness. Then the murderer opens the elevator door and sees the men inside.
Mr. Wright, you are truly the most unpredictable defense attorney I've ever known. I can tell you are grasping, yet I cannot deny the possibility of what you say.
What are you saying? Deny it! No one involved with the incident was wounded! There was no murderer!
No one was wounded at the time of the incident. He's right. I can't think of anyone.
Hey, Nick,
Huh?
I just thought of something really crazy.
Crazy?
Remember what Mr. Grossberg said yesterday?
Gregor Edgeworth dealt a blow to his perfect trial record.
Wow!
It must have been quite a shock for Von Karma. He took a vacation for several months after that, you see. Yes, an unusual event for the man. That was the first and the last vacation he's taken in many years of prosecuting.
What if Von Karma didn't take that vacation because of shock?
But took it because he was injured.
Which would mean
It could only mean one thing.
he was the murderer in the DL6 incident.
He was the man who shot Gregory Edgeworth.
It was Von Karma!
Oh man!
Something wrong, Mr. Wright. You both are talking very loudly over there. You seem dazed, though.
No, Your Honor.
Well, you have indicated the possibility that the murderer came from outside. Can you give us the name of your suspect?
Oh. Should I come out and say it now?
Is there a better time, really? I don't see what would be a better time.
After Edgeworth's in prison. Your Honor! There is a suspect. One lone suspect.
Well, this is certainly interesting news. Very well, Mr. Wright. Who is your suspect?
My hands are shaking.
What?
Von Karma!
Von Karma?
You mean the Von Karma? The prosecutor? One standing right over there?
Ha ha ha!
You don't object?
I see, no need. Why honor this ridiculous outburst with my objection?
Because you took a vacation for several months starting the day after the incident. Yet you pride yourself on a perfect record. Why would you take such a long vacation without any reason?
So you're claiming that I took a vacation to heal my injury from the incident? Fascinating. Prove it! I would have needed surgery, no? Where did I go under the knife at, Mr. Wright? Bring that doctor that operated on me. Have him testify!
Nick! Let's find out who this doctor is.
It's no use.
Edgeworth!
I know Von Karma perhaps too well. He's perfect. He wouldn't leave clues. He probably didn't undergo surgery. That would leave a doctor as a witness.
Nobody's that perfect.
So what, Nick? Did Von Karma pull the bullet out by himself? That's insane.
No, you couldn't have. You can't just pull out a bullet yourself. Wait, what does that mean? That bullet has to be some. Oh. But where?
Well, Mr. Wright, can you produce evidence to prove that I was shot?
I think I know where this is going.
Tell Seth.
Show evidence.
Do I have evidence to show?
Yeah,
What evidence?
think about it.
Think about it. Did the parody
He didn't pull out the bullet himself. He didn't have a doctor pull it out.
Okay.
So where would it be?
Still in him, but I don't have his body in evidence to prove.
You have something you should
Do you have
prove?
a secret weapon?
The parrot? Oh, the metal detector.
Alright, Von Karma, I'll prove it! And I'll even use evidence! I know how you like it so much!
What? Oh, that sounds weird.
The evidence that proves Von Karma was shot! Von Karma is perfect. He wouldn't risk surgery, leaving us an evidence
So
trail.
does he just pull that like out of the back of his shirt? He's like, oh,
So then I ask, where is the bullet now? I think it unlikely that Von Karma performed surgery on himself.
Huh? You don't mean?
I do! There's a possibility that the bullet is still inside Von Karma!
Is that even possible for all these years?
Well, there's one way to find out. We could use this metal detector. Well, Von Karma,
Where did you get that from?
I'm going to run this over you, over your body, and see what we find.
I don't want this to happen to me! I refuse, this is weird!
You refuse? What refusing this means? Do you acknowledge that the bullet is still inside you?
No, it's just weird!
Order! Order! Order!
Your Honor, the defense requests that we be allowed to use the metal detector on Von Karma's body.
Stop, please, Judge! I call for suspension of this trial. This is an invasion of privacy! I don't consent!
The statute of limitations runs out on this case today. Strip Von Karma. It was you who said it had to end right here, right now.
Enough! I permit the use of the metal detector, but please keep his clothes on. Mr. Von Karma, you submit yourself to testing. Nick, what does this mean?
I don't know, but we have to give it a shot.
Now comes the Von Karma strip search minigame.
I reacted. Something's in the right shoulder. The bullet. Mr. Von Karma?
You. It was you.
I was afraid this would happen, so I remained silent. Indeed, there is a bullet in my left shoulder. However, it has nothing to do with this incident.
What?
I was shot in the shoulder long before the DL6 incident. I claim that the bullet in my shoulder has no relation to DL6.
But Mr. Von Karma, can you prove that?
Prove? I have no obligation to prove anything! It is Mr. Wright who must prove something here, not I.
Mr. Wright? Well, can you prove it? Can you prove that the bullet in Von Karma's shoulder was from DL6?
Of course he can't! You don't have any of the DL6 evidence.
That's because you took it out of the records room yesterday.
With no proof, you cannot convict me of any crime. So sorry, Mr. Wright.
No, I'm the one who's sorry, Mr. Von Karma.
What?
You were close, one day away from freedom. But you see, I have proof.
What?
Who would have thought you would dig your own grave trying to convict Edgeworth? I can link that bullet in your shoulder to the DL6 incident. And here's my final proof.
Just mistake.
Look at her face!